started because very excited for today to have Brian on our call. He is a huge wealth of information for LinkedIn for real estate. We worked with him in the past last year. We did a series. Sean was on there. Some of you may have been on some of those classes as well. And just an incredibly wealth of knowledge to be able to kind of take this platform and incorporate into your business with the best tips and tricks and different strategies he has. So before we jump in, if you haven't been on one of these trainings, my name is Justin Taylor. I am the business development and training executive for Rock Title, covering both Arizona and Nevada. And we are very excited to be expanding to Indiana. We'll be in downtown Indianapolis, and that will be September. So we're growing nationally. We have several offices across both states. Rockstar Escrow team. If you haven't tried Rock Title yet, please give us a shot. You will be pleasantly surprised, and it allows us to continue to build out our training development platform for you guys with Rock University. So if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat box as we go along here. I'll make sure to monitor that, and we got those answered by Brian. And without any further ado, Brian, welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be back. Always working with Rock, and really enjoying the Rock University spin, which you're putting together for support. And my background, for those of you who don't know me, I was a former title insurance rep in San Diego for about 15, 16 years. And when I first discovered LinkedIn, it was something that I started bringing to the agents that I was working with, because as a title insurance rep, we can't door knock for a title order. Right. So we have to create a transaction. And the only way to create a transaction is to talk to more people, using the real estate medium. So that being said, LinkedIn has been around since 2006. So it's not new. It's not going away. It's actually owned by Microsoft. If you weren't aware of that, they purchased them in 2016, I think for about $13 billion. So you'll start to see some integration with Microsoft. But, LinkedIn has always been a mystery to people, because it's been set out as that's a place to get a job, or it's just, it's a B2B platform. It's not Facebook, it's not Twitter. It's kind of the only one that's kind of the black sheep of social media, right? And it's also very confusing. So you start combining, not sure what to do with it. And then when you do go on there, you really get distracted or not sure where to go. And what's human nature tell us to do? It's not for me. It's too complicated. I don't want to use it, right? So, my goal today, and always my goal, is to get you a believer and a champion in using LinkedIn daily once you see its potential for long-term visibility, as well as lead gen and referral-based marketing. So I like to run these classes a little bit interactive. So I always look for volunteers if they want to, drive the bus, or I can obviously go through and show you some things there. But we'll go ahead and first, anyone out there, new to LinkedIn, or is everyone pretty familiar with the platform?
I'm new to it.
You're new to it? Okay.
Yeah.
So Sergio, thanks for jumping on. And
Thank you.
Yeah, the hot seat, we'll call it, for a second. But do you have a profile right now? Have you at least created a profile?
LinkedIn? No, I haven't.
Okay, so you're literally going to be starting from scratch, which
Exactly.
is actually okay.
Exactly.
All right, that's not a bad place to be. So one thing is, there's a lot about LinkedIn we can talk about. There's the profile itself, which means you're going to be connecting with people, and you're ultimately going to be driving them to your profile. People are literally going to look at your profile. It used to be 30 seconds. Now that's even a lot, right? So you have about 3 to 5 seconds for them to look at your profile and go, should I connect? Should I accept Sergio's invitation or not, based on what I see? And if there's not a solid headline, background photo, picture, and at least a little bit of an about section, I'm not too sure if I'm going to accept that request. So there's also a fine line between going out and using the platform when you're not prepared for, to direct people to come in. It's like saying, come to my open house, but we're not done painting and we haven't cleaned the carpets yet. right? So what are
Right.
your chances are gonna be? So,
Right.
but keep that in mind. So I want to give you techniques, but if you're not ready to use them, really take a good look at your profile first and say, does this really best represent me? Is my
Right.
contact info correct? Or all those things? Because it can kill a deal pretty quickly, because if you Google yourself, LinkedIn comes up number 3 in the search engine. So if you have a profile and you haven't touched it, that's okay. But just remember that it comes up number 3. And when you see number 3 in a list on Google, that's eye level, right? So you can have SEO to put you number 1, but I'm not looking at number 1. I'm looking at right in front of me, which is number 3, which is LinkedIn. So I don't want people to see the first impression of me is my LinkedIn profile, even though I have a very well built out website, right? It could get trumped based on the search engine optimization. So I don't want to get too deep on that, but I just want to set a precedent for the profile is very important, as well as your privacy settings go. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Appreciate that.
So let me go ahead and share my screen. Opt out here. I'm the co-host, so I've got a few extra buttons here, just that don't normally work with here. So let me see where my screen share is.
Brian, Linda Bedell said she recently set hers up as well. So
Okay, great.
got a couple people in the chat box saying Christina Gatewood doesn't use her page yet. She has one, but doesn't use it.
Okay. But yeah, so bear in mind, like at least have something about your company and real estate, not your previous position that has nothing to do with real estate, or just make a third effort to update as soon as possible if you can. All right. I'll share my screen. Did someone say something? Are you able to monitor the chat for me, Justin?
Yeah. So Renee doesn't have a page. Kathy, I have one if you want to pull it up. It's a work in progress. Tiana, I've set mine up. Not much action in there though. So going to be very valuable class today.
Okay. And that's the thing too on LinkedIn, is that this is a long-term play. This is not an instant results. There's a couple elements here. There's social media and marketing, which is posting, commenting, and liking. But then there's outbound business development. My focus has always been outbound business development. So one misnomer about LinkedIn is you have to post and you have to always be active with your, creating content and putting things out there. You don't have to. You can simply share content or not participate at all. The main goal of LinkedIn is really a super database. So the first thing I'm going to show you today is what I ask people is, who do I already know? So we have all of these connections. And prior to this, we've been taught to go out and meet more people, talk to more people, constantly talk to more people, do more marketing, what have you. So we're always looking for more, but we haven't gone back and realized that, hey, there's 500 connections that I have on LinkedIn and I don't even know who these people are. So why don't I start with who I know first and then go through that list and then start to expand out upon that. So I will actually stop my share and look for a volunteer, because I think it'll hit home with what you're really at when you realize what you're sitting on as far as potential. And if I don't get a volunteer, I'll jump back to mine, but I'd love to see someone's profile. Okay.
So Kathy Van Fredenberg has said that we could pull hers up.
Okay. Just go ahead and share your screen. I've set it so you're able to share your screen, and we'll stay on this just for a minute or two, but it's very impactful, I think.
Kathy, do you have it pulled up on your computer that you can go to?
I'm working on it right now.
Okay, I'll go ahead and give you access.
Okay, great. And again, if you're shy about sharing your profile on the Zoom, I understand that, but just remember, 300 million people can access it right now online at the same time. So there's nothing we're going to see that we can't already see. All right. So just give that a minute here. And while we do that, so I want to go through your network. Also start thinking about, what is your target market? Who are you focusing on? Is it buyers? Is it company relocations? Is it military? we really want to get clear about the industries and the titles of the people that you want to work with or already may know. Okay, are you ready, Kathy?
Yes, where do I share my screen at? Sorry.
So the
Pending-
bottom
yeah,
of your
bottom.
Zoom should be a button that says share, green button. If you click that, and then you can click the pause.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Okay, and we'll have everybody else do the same exercise on their computer, or at least do the same thing. So we don't see it yet, Kathy.
So it's not letting me share. It says share entire screen. I've got that, but the button share is not lit up for me to click on it.
Give you co-host access.
Should be, because I had clicked it that everybody could. But if we get into a snag here, I don't want to burn time on tech. So
Oh, wait,
there we
I
go.
think I got it.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
what website do we need to go though?
So we're going LinkedIn.com.
LinkedIn.com. Okay, because I'm not even there.
Right. Okay.
Hold on.
Is it sharing
LinkedIn.
now?
It was sharing, but now it's stopped.
Oh.
There we go. Okay. Well,
This is-
now
oh.
you're sharing the Zoom. So go back to the other tab.
All right.
LinkedIn.com.
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
Okay.
So Kathy, you have 126 connections,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
So click on my network. So I want everybody to go to my network. You'll see the two little people icon, and then click on your connections to the left. Now the advanced is going to be search with filters. So click search with filters in blue. Right?
LinkedIn.com. I don't know if I even have a profile here. I have to like join in, right?
Well, you'll have to create an account. So yeah. So and also over to the right, your messages, you want to minimize those, Kathy? Correct. Okay. So now you click all filters at the top. See all filters? I want you to unclick your first degree and click your second degree. Okay, we're going to stop right there for a second. So what we're going to do is Kathy knows 125 people on LinkedIn currently. By clicking the advanced filters, we're going to find out how big how large Kathy's network is with 125 people that she already knows. So go all the way down to the bottom and click show results. So Kathy, your 125 people have access to 78,000 people, meaning you don't need to look any further than those 125 right now if you really wanted to get deep into prospecting and understanding who you might be able to get introduced to. So
Okay.
that's a lot of leads, right? 78,000. And
Yes.
those could be made by warm introductions. So now we're going to go to all filters again, because I don't think I could handle a volume of 78,000 opportunities. So let's go scroll down. Right. Okay, stop. We'll go too fast. Yeah, scroll back up. Keep going. We're going to go into the location area. So keep going up, keep going. A little bit further, right there, stop. So you're going to filter your second degree network by where you're located. So if you don't see the location, you could add multiple too. So add location. And another pro tip about sorting LinkedIn is some people might put in Gilbert, Arizona, a suburb of Arizona, like in San Diego, they'll put Carlsbad or Encinitas, or so you might miss some of the people if you don't add all the locations that you're 100% focused on. But for now, this is good, right? So let's find out how many of the second degree people live in Arizona, Phoenix. So we got it down. We lost 70,000 just by doing that location search. But still, 8,800 is pretty high. So let's go back to all filters again. All right, now we're gonna add another filter, so scroll down. Okay, we have our locations, right? Now this is current company. So for example, maybe you want to focus on a corporation and be the, do the home buying seminars, or maybe corporate relocation or things like that. So you could sort by companies if you had a targeted company. But what we'll do is we'll skip that for now and go to past company. So here it says past company. Let's say you want to work with military veterans, add company. So you may or may not, but for the example, we're going to click add company and we're going to type in US Army. So click on US Army. Okay, we'll add company. We'll add all the branches. US Marine Corps. There we go. United States Marine Corps. Let's add the Navy, Air Force. It might be not. Yeah, there it is, US Navy. And then we're going to add the Air Force. We can do Coast Guard. You can do reserves and active duty. So let's do regular Air Force. Okay. You sometimes have to play with it. It's there, so back out. Oh, stay in that box, yeah, and just type in United States Air Force and see if that makes it easier. There it is. Go back. Okay, click on Air Force.
Oops.
No, just drop down, right. Now let's just see how many people fit that description. Okay, that's a manageable list. So that tells us if you were working with military, VA loans, and first-time home buyers or relocation, you've generated a list of 185 veterans who live in Arizona that know people in your 125 network. Now, again, numbers. All right, I'm a salesperson. Right, don't be fooled by the LinkedIn. I'm always been about outbound business development and sales training. So sales is driven by numbers. You out of 185 opportunities, you think it's possible if you focused on this list for the next 90 days, you would have a potential for a real estate referral.
Sure.
Right. And how many of us have gone deeper into our network and said, geez, if I just focus on this, it could lead to this or more. I'm being ultra conservative, Kathy, because I know it will, right? If you had 185 at-bats, you're going to get on base 1 out of 185 times. Easy, right? So what I want you to do next is you see, this is a little advanced, but necessary. So at the very top of your browser, you see that very long link.
The very long what?
Yeah, the very long link in your browser, in your internet browser, says www.linkedin.com search.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
see that? So if you copy that and put it in a spreadsheet or a Word document, those are your 185 results, so you don't have to do it again. So all you have to, right? Otherwise, you'll have to do those filters and do it all over again. But in this case, you know that your second degree network meaning you have someone in common with these individuals is 185 results, and the only people on this list are all military veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can start your campaign. That's just in Arizona. So now if you look at Billy Johnson right here, it looks like he's a builder or a home builder. I'm not sure what, we haven't looked at it yet, but you have one mutual connection that you may or may not know.
Right.
Okay, so let's go back to your all filters. But my point being is that with your network of 125, you have 185 people here, and outside of that, you had 7,800. So let's take away the military And then you could focus on a particular title of someone that you're looking to talk to. Or actually, we could even do school, high school or college or both. So let's get rid of past company. You just unclick the green.
So Brian, what's the difference in all of the different connections, first, second, and third degree?
That's a great question. So first degree means you and I are connected. Second degree means we're not connected, but we both have someone in common,
Gotcha.
right? And third degree means there's nobody in common, which LinkedIn really frowns upon because that tells the individual that you're pretty much soliciting them for sales if you don't have anybody in common.
Gotcha.
So you want to go to my network. I'll recap the process because this is something you do regularly all the time, building lists through LinkedIn. So go to school, scroll down, and then is there a school you attended, high school or college?
Yeah, they're in Seattle though.
That doesn't matter. That's even better. So add school. Yep. Okay, so let's just hit that one and go to the bottom. Show results. So there are 73 people that went to school in Seattle that live in Phoenix that you have a second degree connection. So 185 military potential, right? 73 alumni potential. I'm not great at math today, but again, you just increased another 73 opportunities to sell a home or find a new home buyer or rental income property or who knows what. So you would save this list as well.
By going up here and highlighting
Right.
it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Copy it, put it somewhere. And then you'd simply reach out to Krista Robertson. We'll click on her profile. I don't know Krista, but Colleen Rogers does. All right, there's your mutual connection. Says she works at First American Title, so maybe not the one. What are the chances of that, Justin? Right? So let's go back out. But I will tell you though, just because she has her company logo is not on her profile, so that's a whole nother thing when it comes to building out your profile. Make sure you have the right company when you drop down and build out your. So let's look at Chantel. Okay, great. So Ward, Cornet, and Associates. So Chantel has 500 plus connections, right? So let's scroll down a little bit. Okay, keep going down. Okay, stop right there. Okay. Another pro tip I want to give you is everyone's always curious, is 500 plus connections. Is it 500? Do they know 501 people or 5,000 or 50,000, right? So there's a code on LinkedIn, they call it followers. See, 988 followers. If I were to get access to Chantel's LinkedIn get into her network, it would show me that she has 988 connections. So followers are very close to the number of connections a person has. The reason I bring this up is because you're going to get a lot of connection requests from people that you don't know. And you're going to say, why should I accept their connection request? In some instances, you want to look at their followers, because if I have 10,000 connections and you accept my connection request, you just became a second degree to everybody in my network because I'm the mutual. So when I'm getting a barrage of connection requests in, the first thing I look at is their numbers, because it's not going to hurt me to accept someone with 5,000 connections, because that just puts me out further to my second degree connections. So don't just always go with the, I don't know this person, I'm not accepting them. And yes, you are going to get a lot of spam because that's the way the business is going with marketing, but that's okay. There's a reason not to accept a person. There's always a reason not to accept a person, and I'm pretty discerning, but sometimes the indicator could be that the number of followers they have could just increase your value and visibility just by accepting it. So make sure you pay attention to that rather than just trying to clean out your invitations. Okay, let's go down. So we looked at her number of followers, which are her connections. We want to find out, did she in fact go to the University of Washington? Scroll down. Show all 7. Keep going down.
Oh, here it is.
Okay, great. 97 to 2001. So here's a total stranger on LinkedIn that potentially works in law, has a decent sized network. You have that in common. You could potentially connect with her. But you're not connecting as a real estate agent providing real estate services. You simply just want to connect. So when you send connection requests, the rule of thumb is short and sweet. So you don't have to write this, Kathy, but if I was going to write it to Chantel, I would say, hi, Chantel. I'm a fellow Husky from U of W living in Arizona and thought it'd be great to connect, period. That's it. I'm a fellow Air Force veteran living in Las Vegas, would love to connect, period. I don't want to get into, do you know this? Are you a first-time home buyer? This is not a commercial. This is not a sale. This is simply, goal is to connect. And people get mixed up with tracking their metrics, right? Everybody looks at a metric as a new sale potentially, right? But on LinkedIn, you have to think of it as a win. So if you want an instant result, I'll give you one. Send an invitation, just like we said to Chantel. And if she accepts your invitation, that's an instant result based on your activity. Now, the trick is the follow-up. Thanks for connecting. Love to get together. What's the best number to reach you? You start getting into the scripting, or you simply pick up the phone and call them and acknowledge their connection. If you try to automate LinkedIn, it will work against you. You have to literally go back to the How to Win Friends and Influence People School of Business, which means we have to have a connection with people before we can sell to them. Otherwise, you're going to have to play a hard numbers game. But I'd rather play the easy route, which is, hey, we both went to the same school. We're both professionals here. And there might be more in common than you think, because we're going to read the profile before we actually call somebody, which is in another module that we do. But we probably won't have time to do all of that today. My main goal, like as I said, is to get you very comfortable in searching and looking at where your opportunities are, rather than paying for more marketing, spending more money on ads that are not working, or maybe they are, but if they're not, this is why we're looking at LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is free. And also being free, that's an expense that you don't have to have. And people always ask me, do I need the premium, which is about $97 a month? And I've said for 14 years, you do not. You can get by on the free version. So if there's no takeaways from today at all, right? At least I know for sure that I saved you $97 a month, right? So just please don't act unless you have you want the luxury to have it, great. But there's really no more benefit to paying for the upgraded version. So, okay. And Kathy, thank you for going through that with that exercise with me. But before we do, we have one more thing to do, because those were your second degrees. So now we want to go back out one time. And another time, we'll get back to your list. And now let's go to all filters. We're going to unclick your second and click your first. And let's see how many people you already know. Okay. And do you know Steve?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. So that's great. And that'll give you more information about, who they are, what they do. But if you just want to click on Steve's profile, I want to show you how to read the information. Click on contact info. Okay. So when your first degree means you're already connected on LinkedIn, you have more information or access to more information. There's Steve's phone number, his address, and his email. But the main thing is that Scroll down. It's when you connected. So May 15th, 2022. The reason I use this exercise is, let's say, for example's sake, that Kathy doesn't know Steve, but she's connected to Steve. But she decided to finally go into her LinkedIn and start understanding who she knew that was an alumni or whatnot. Right? So, Kathy, if you didn't know Steve and I was you, I would say this is a new potential to reach out to a contact that you connected. So the phone call sounds something like this. Oh, hi, Steve. This is Brian Trachel. You and I actually connected on LinkedIn on May 15th of this year. And I'm finally getting an opportunity to go through my network. And I thought I'd take LinkedIn a little bit more seriously this summer. And I thought my first step would be is find out who I know in Arizona that went to U of W. And I saw that we connected already. And I thought your phone number was there. So it made it easy for me just to pick up the phone and say hello. How are things and how long have you been in Arizona? How are things going? What kind of work do you do? How can I help you? How can we work together? That's not a sales call, but it's anchored in the fact that you're using the day you connected and the fact that you truly are just getting into LinkedIn right now, which is fine because everybody jumps into LinkedIn at different times. It's a common theme. And most people say, I don't even know how to use LinkedIn myself, but they'll take your phone call. Any questions or comments on that?
That was a comment, Brian, earlier by Destiny of, once we have the list, what do we do? So you just answer that by just picking up the phone if you got that there. If there's not a phone number, could they just do the same thing by messaging?
Well, that's even better. Yeah. So here's what that sounds like. Hi, Justin. We actually connected a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, a year ago, whatever that's going to be. Is I didn't see a phone number on your profile. What's the best number to reach you? It's short and sweet. They're very much direct messages and direct commands on LinkedIn because people don't have a lot of time, but they will respond.
And can you, just a quick question, can you go back to how you got to Steve's contact info?
It's right in the profile. So if Kathy, if you click, thank you. So right there.
Perfect.
Okay, so click on contact info. But here's another thing. So people don't always update things on LinkedIn, which means they have the old position, or guess even better, their website doesn't even work anymore, right? So I always click on the website to make sure it's working. Hopefully it is. It looks like it is. Okay, great. So that's fine. But what if it wasn't? So now I have something to call and provide value to someone I've never even met, but I've been connected to on LinkedIn. FYI, Justin, I know we just connected a few weeks ago, happened to click on your link. It looked like the link was broken. Wasn't sure if you were aware of that or not. I'd want someone to tell me, because I don't know if I'd want to list my home with you if I knew your website wasn't working, right? So could that be a deterrent to a listing present, Yes, absolutely. And it has happened before, or it's happened, which is even more embarrassing. The website was with their old company, right? So make sure you have current contact information and it's clean. So we'll go back to LinkedIn, to Steve's profile. So those are the things I look for, but guess what? There's one more. And some of you who have gone through my classes before may already know what it is. And I welcome you to jump out and say it. But if we could X that out, but if you don't, but does anyone see anything peculiar about Steve's profile right out of the gate?
Have
it
it
was-
right here.
His connections are exposed. They're in blue. Do you see that? So click on those 205 connections. Okay, then you can click on all filters. And then you can get rid of, go down to the bottom and unclick, but that's fine. Yeah, go down to you want to look for industry.
Industry.
Mm-hmm. Okay, type in real estate. So we're and then hit show results. So he knows 13 realtors across the country, couple in Arizona. But right now, everybody, we're unfortunately in someone's address book because they didn't change their privacy settings. So let's back out. And of course, would anyone think it's a good idea for a financial planner to not have their connections exposed on LinkedIn? A wealth manager, an insurance broker, a real estate agent,
So the more you show, the better,
the less you show, the better on connection.
the less you show.
Yeah, the more information about yourself and what you do is great, but when it comes to your privacy settings, you don't want to give people access to your connections.
Oh, I see, okay.
So Sergio, thanks for that, because I will use my my time tested, and I hate to even call it a script because it isn't even a script. It's what I call, how did I get to this phone call? So if Sergio, if I saw that your website wasn't working and your connections were exposed, I would literally call you and say, hi, Sergio, this is Brian Trachel. And you're going to say, what? Who the heck are you? Right? Right. Well, you may not remember this, Sergio, but you and I connected probably about 2 years ago, and it might have been through a webinar. Nonetheless, the reason I'm calling is because I was on LinkedIn today, which is a true statement. I was going through my connections, which is a true statement. I was looking for agents in Arizona, also true. I saw your profile. I noticed that your connections were exposed and that your profile link says that you're with the old company. And I wanted to bring it to your attention. Do you think Sergio is going to tell me to take a hike, or he's going to go, oh, how do I fix that? Or I had no idea, or thank you.
Most definitely how I fix that.
Right.
How do we hide the connections?
Yours are probably already hitting, and that's in the privacy settings, which I'll do here before we leave. I'll make sure everyone knows how to change that before we get off the Zoom. But as far as, with Sergio, when I enter a phone call like that, I'm not selling him anything. I literally am helping him, and he may reciprocate and say, so what is it that you actually do? How can I help you? Or maybe there's no agenda for me at all. Maybe I'm just trying to tell someone, hey, you have a little food here on your chin, and let's pay attention to that. But guess what happens, Sergio, when you go, I do need some help with that. Now I throw great, how does tomorrow look? It's about 5 minutes. We can do it over Zoom. Because you'll need to be in front of a computer. And he'll either get me in or he won't. But what did I just do? I set an appointment, right? So after Sergio talk about his privacy settings in his website, I might look and say, by the way, I didn't realize that you and I both played soccer in college, or we both did this. And we're going to find some commonality through that LinkedIn profile that could turn into a future discussion, relationship, referral based, and opportunities, because we took the chance to call a total stranger who wasn't a stranger, because we've been connected for 2 years on LinkedIn. So that's really where I focus on the most when you're getting into LinkedIn, is to pay attention. People are pretty open to speaking with you as long as you're not selling them immediately out of the gate. It already says in your profile that you're in real estate. So there's no hiding the fact that you're a real estate agent in Arizona or Las Vegas or San Diego. So just know that it's a B2B site, and it's okay to talk about business, right? It'd be different if I was on TikTok and you were trying to talk to me about business but it's not. This is a B2B platform. So it's expected that you do have a business conversation, right? Or at least say, is there anyone you'd like to get introduced to? Who are you looking to connect with? How can I help you? Or you might say, how's your LinkedIn expertise? I can show you a couple of cool tips on how to farm your network and show you that. And that's another appointment. So, and Kathy, you'll have to thank Steve, and also please tell him about his connections when you do see it. So we'll stop your share, and I will go ahead and show you how to do those privacy settings. But before I do that, is there any questions in the chat that I can answer?
Let's take a look here. There were some, but I think that you, one was, what do we post on LinkedIn once we have the connections?
You don't have to post anything. I mean, technically you could reshare company information that's being created for you by professional marketing people and add copy and things like that. So, but to answer your question, if you do want to post, go for something that's easy. It doesn't have market updates, right? If you're getting those, everyone wants to know about market updates, but if anything, you know, holidays, you know, you don't have to post every day. You could post once a month. I haven't posted in probably 6 years, but I piggyback on other people. So I'll like and comment on everyone else's information, and it does the same effect for visibility. When
Yeah,
you
the
start,
reshare-
go ahead, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
the
resharing it,
reshare-
yep. And that's the beauty of social media is, and the trap is if you're into Canva and you like to design your own content, guess what? That takes time. And I remember working with agents who spent a majority of their time making flyers and designing, and hours of design, where there was someone else that didn't really care and took a black and white copy and go hit farm the neighborhood, door knocking. That person got more sales with the black and white than the fancy glossy post, right? So yeah.
Just so you guys know, Rock University, if you go to the VIP All Access, every single month, there's a social media post already done for you that you can move into your Canva account. You just download it, add your stuff to it. So, you know, just because you mentioned Canva, that's available on Rock University right now. So you can go there and get that content if you need it.
Yeah, and there's also the learning curve. I don't want to learn Canva, right? I don't want to create and design and be, you know, artsy. I want to sell real estate. I'm just speaking figuratively for everyone on the call. I don't sell real estate, but you see my point is, like, let's not get caught up in the small details. Is the goal is business development, listings, buyers, sellers, revenue, right? And going out and making sure that we are, you know, earning income and continually getting referrals based on our activities. So this is a great platform to do that once you understand who my network is and then how to navigate that. So now that your network is out there, you can like and comment on their posts, et cetera. So there's a whole flow to this, but we have to start somewhere and have a baseline, which is navigating the filters. Next question.
So is it okay to request recommendation? Can we talk about recommendations a little bit?
Yeah, recommendations are fine. So if you want to request a recommendation, you have to know where it's hidden on LinkedIn. So the person that asked it, do you know how to find it?
Christina, are you able to see that on your side? Where to request?
But it's a good point. It's further down the line in topics, but it's still a good point as far as understanding how to ask for recommendation, and I can do that. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen. And let's go to, it's going to be hidden. So I think of who's someone, because Justin has given me a recommendation already, and I don't know if there's anyone else. If you want to connect to me on LinkedIn, it would be great. Send me a connection request, but we need to find someone to, you know, get a recommendation from. So let's go with, I'll do my friend Matt here. Say Matt. He's written one for me, but I have several titles, so I can work around that. So you can get a recommendation for different positions, right? Just because someone recommended you once in 2015 doesn't mean they can't recommend you now in 2022, right? So you could always go back to people who have worked previously, given you recommendations. But the main point of the story is, how do I do it, right? So let me get you there. So when you land on somebody's profile, and you have to be a first-degree connection to get a recommendation. So if you're not connected, it's not going to work. So make sure you're at least number one, connected. Second, you go on the person's profile. And like I said, there's a lot of noise happening. Where do I go? Click on the more button. And then it
Brian?
says request a recommendation.
What does the green circle mean?
Which green circle?
Next to his picture?
Oh, it means he's online right now.
Oh, okay. So, makes sense.
Yeah. But then again, mine is on 24/7, so it's not necessarily a true indicator. So, all right. And then it just says, how do I know Matt? We worked together. He was a client of mine. It gives you all of these options. My position at the time, that's based on your experience, right? And it says, hi, Matt, would you write me a recommendation, please? And without getting even more deeper in the weeds, don't ever use what LinkedIn gives you, right? Because if you notice, I didn't type that. That's not what I would say. I would say, hi, Matt, I'm looking to expand my LinkedIn profile with business recommendations from people that I've worked with. I would love to hear your experience or feedback in working with me. Thanks in advance for helping, Brian. And then that becomes my cut and paste for later. So whatever you do once, you will do again and again. So just start keeping like a diary of LinkedIn copy paste scripts. But then I would send that off, and hopefully Matt would write me a recommendation. Was that helpful to answer the question? So it's located on the More button. So let's get into privacy settings before we run out of time, because I want to make sure we still have time for some questions. Well, privacy settings are going to be, you see where there's a little picture of yourself, you'll see a drop down arrow that says me. Then it says settings and privacy. Okay, once that loads, I already had it open, so you'll see visibility. You're going to go over to the middle where it says connections, and you're just going to simply turn it off. Mine's already off. And it's that easy. So you go to the little picture, drop down arrow that says me, and you go to settings and privacy, click on visibility. It'll take you here. You'll see connections. It's number 4. Turn it off. And since we're here, your profile viewing options, you want to click on that. I recommend you change it to private mode. If you've never been here, you're going to be your name and headline, which is what you don't want, because that means you're leaving a digital trail on every single profile you look at. So if I go on Justin's profile and he sees, oh, Brian looked at me, he's like, uh-oh, Brian's probably going to call me the next couple of days because he's doing some data research and he's going to sell me something. So people start to they start to anticipate that. Some people are curious, like, well, why did they look at me, right? Just play it safe, because the last thing you want to do is go on a listing presentation, and 5 minutes before I get to Kathy's house, I'm in my car. Maybe I should look Kathy up on LinkedIn. I look her up on LinkedIn. Kathy gets a notification saying, Brian just viewed your profile. She's like, isn't he the realtor that's coming over in 5 minutes? Doesn't look professional, right? Don't telegraph your plays. That's just my opinion. All of this is my opinion, right? There's no set standard. I've just been on LinkedIn for a very long time, and it's been very good to me. And I continually, want to share what I've learned and my experiences. So, don't take it as the way, but in my opinion, it's better to be anonymous and play it safe than let people know that you're doing your due diligence on that. All right, last thing. In the same vein on privacy settings, if you do any work on your profile today, tomorrow, next week, make sure you go down to the bottom of those privacy settings where it says share profile updates with your network. Right here. You want to turn that to off. So if I just wrote in, like Sergio, we both played college and soccer, and we made that up. But again, if Sergio he played college soccer, everybody in his network will get notified today about his new update on his LinkedIn profile. It's not a social media update, it's a change in his profile that really isn't as significant as getting a new designation for a realtor, a new realtor designation, right? That's something you might want to share. but we don't want to use this platform. So every time I update my profile, that all this data goes out and it starts notifying your network and they go, oh geez, Sergio must be working on his LinkedIn profile today. So
Do you-
and that, by the way, that's how you can tell if someone's going to change jobs, because they didn't turn off their notifications and they started updating their LinkedIn profile. They've had no activity in 6 years, and all of a sudden there's all this activity. Let's put 2 and 2 together. They're probably trying to get a new position. So if you're in talent acquisition, pay attention to those type of things. So I'll stop my share here. And Justin, if you want, I can get you a new updated privacy settings worksheet that explains all the steps rather than having to watch the video again, or
That'd be great, because I'll send a follow-up email with the recording, everything, and we could include that in there with that as well. Mamta, did you see that second time he went through and showed that? I just want to make sure you saw that again, how to change your privacy settings.
Yes, I did. Thank you, Justin.
Beautiful. And then I believe the answer is yes, Mary, but she's asking, are all the privacy settings available on basic LinkedIn, or do you need the premium?
they're all basic. Everything is the same. Yeah. The LinkedIn Sales Navigator is a completely separate platform. You actually have to work both of them together. The privacy settings are going to be the same. Excuse me, but that's, like I said, that's all we were able to get into today, but I think that's going to give you a very clear idea of how powerful your network already is, or going outside of that. Part 2, 3, 4 down the line, we can see who's outside of your network and get a full number. But we already know, working with Kathy, and thank you for really being helpful and volunteering, that she technically could find 78,000 new people to network with, over the next, to the rest of the year, or the next 2 years. So there's enough there to go through, but I would have loved to got more into, the posting and, what do I do every single day? But I think right now it's about business development versus marketing. We really need to go out, get on the phone, start making calls, and see who's out there, because it's different times as we've gone from pandemic to stagflation, inflation. So we're getting compressed with all of these new things, and we have to find ways. So to me, when you have to strip the airplane at the end of the day, this would be the most important lessons that I would do on LinkedIn. The rest is all more luxurious than actual building out a business. So, but yeah, please reach out to me, connect with me. I'm always around. There are a lot of courses, out there with Rock, and I'm available. So this is what I love to do. And as some of I won't stop talking about it. So if you give me a chance to talk about LinkedIn, I will take advantage of it. So thank you for having me, Justin. And again, I'll still here for a few more minutes to answer some questions.
Yes, no, thank you. We really appreciate your time today. The feedback's been amazing so far. Does anybody have any last minute questions
How many
that you want to
websites?
get in with the group? Sean?
How many websites should you have? Because I have the one that I think we set up last time, which was the points to my Zillow reviews. Can I point to my Google reviews? Should I point to my?
You can only point to 3, Sean. There's only 3. So I would start with your personal landing page,
Okay.
then your Facebook business page, if you have it, or your Zillow reviews or whatnot. And then the third one, it would be schedule a call. If you have a Calendly link, that would be my third option. If not, it would be website, Instagram, Facebook, or 1, 2, 3, right? But always your website first, then your secondary business page, and then your third, or schedule a call, that type of thing.
Thanks.
And you can share your LinkedIn profile. That's if you want to share it, that's Monta, that's fine.
Good question. To add contacts, I was just browsing through, through the settings, and
Right.
it's how many emails, because they want to connect or link your contacts from your email,
Right.
right? To open up this one, I used one of them, but I got like three more email accounts.
Yeah, you do it for each one. You want to be in private mode.
Private
So,
mode. Yeah. Yeah, I'm in private mode.
no, I'm talking to Montes. If you look at her screen, just click on
Oh.
private mode.
Oh.
Yeah, click on private mode,
So profile viewing options.
right? And then click private mode. There you go, you're done. Yeah, that's your set.
So it was not like this before.
No, this is a newer, they change everything when anytime. It could happen tomorrow. So connections are up.
Off.
Mhm.
One more thing you were mentioning, Brian,
Turn that
with-
off.
Sorry?
Share profile updates with your network off,
Share. Oh, this is on.
right?
I should do it off.
Yep, that's perfect. Sergio, yes, so you're going to have to go in every single email address that you have or you consolidate to an Excel spreadsheet and get all your contacts and you upload as a CSV delimited file and it will send out those connections for you.
Can I add connections by one as I go, or?
You can, it may take you a while, but you can, or your phone may import everybody. If you download the app on your phone, it may be easier because it'll access anyone in your phone who has a LinkedIn profile and connect with them.
Yeah, because I don't know, I got probably 70 contacts, but it only got like 30 something. I guess the only 30 something have a LinkedIn
Right,
LinkedIn app.
that's
So
possible, that's possible. Yeah,
Yeah,
that they
so-
don't have a profile.
so I can only add contacts that are connected with LinkedIn.
No, you can add all your contacts, they just may not be on LinkedIn. So
Ah.
I have thousands of contacts, but they're still just sitting there because those people have not joined LinkedIn and probably won't at this point. So they're not useful contacts for that particular purpose.
Oh, I see. Okay. But I can invite my
You
my
can,
contact.
you can, but I wouldn't recommend that you invite them to join LinkedIn because if they knew you could tell them about it, but I wouldn't invite people to join because they're getting hundreds of those emails every day from everybody else that's inviting them to LinkedIn.
No, I'm just talking about my professional friends and or my colleagues.
Yeah, if they're not on there, particularly, yes.
Yeah, not like everybody, not everybody is into business or a professional career per se.
Right,
Okay.
right, I understand. There was a quick question that came up about the privacy settings and setting the profile characteristics. I want to just say, you just set it to private mode, which means that if you look at someone's profile, you will not leave a trail. If you do characteristics, it'll say an agent from or a representative from Rock Title looked at your profile. Well, I might be able to put 2 and 2 together, right? So there's still a chance that that person may know it was you, right? So I don't like to use the profile characteristics, which is the middle one. It's either you show 100% or you go private mode. Again, personal preference, but there's no point for you to be advertising what you're doing on LinkedIn when you're researching people. Like I said, there's a lot to take from this. There's 22 sections of the profile. For those of you that think you're going to sit down and do your profile today and get it done, great. But it normally takes about 6 to 7 hours if you've been a professional for a good amount of time. So just remember, don't try to whip through it. Your whole career wasn't just overnight, right? It took time and built. So just remember, when everything counts, but take your time. But if anything, at least get your current information and work in reverse. So work from now backwards rather than high school to today. So work in reverse when it comes to your profile. But again, I want to stay on track with time, but please reach out to me individually or reach out to Justin or anyone at Rock. And they've done a lot of training with me as well on LinkedIn. And just understand those privacy settings, because those privacy settings somehow I got muted. Anyways, understand your privacy settings. That'll get you appointments with other professionals. So thank you very much for everybody for showing up today, and always my pleasure to work with the group here.
Awesome, Brian. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Just so you guys, everyone knows, this was recorded. I will send the follow-up email with the recording and everything within 24 hours. I'll get that over to you. Brian, we can't thank you enough for all the knowledge you have. Please reach out to him on LinkedIn if you haven't connected yet with him. Please reach out, take a look at his profile, see how it's set up, get some ideas. And then, of course, if any questions with that as well. So thank you, Brian. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure, everybody. Take care.
Before I let everybody go, I'm gonna just real quickly talk about next week's training. We do have Debbie DeGroat, who is an industry leading real estate coach. She's gonna be talking about how to win more listings in a shifting market. I'm gonna paste that Zoom link to register in the chat box right now. Make sure you go and click that link and get registered. And that's gonna be next Thursday at 1 o'clock. So we wanna make sure that you guys get on that as well. So any other questions before I go? Cool. Thank you guys so much. If you guys need anything, please reach out to me, justin@rocktitle.com, and we will see you on the next training. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Both of you, man.
Thank you.